Chapter 12, Planning the Construction Phase. In this chapter, we are going to talk about what happens after the planning, budgeting, bidding, and contract phase, the actual construction phase. This is the stage most property owners think about when they imagine construction: crews arriving, demolition beginning, material showing up, visible progress finally happening. And emotionally, this is often where owners feel both excited and nervous at the same time, because now the project becomes real. But here is something important I want you to understand early. Projects that feel organized during construction usually started with stronger planning before construction ever began. Construction itself can move fast, and once momentum starts, weak planning gets exposed quickly. That is why preparing properly for the construction phase is critical. Construction moves faster than most owners expect. One thing that surprises a lot of owners is how quickly construction starts generating decisions once work begins. At first, planning can feel slow, but once crews mobilize, everything accelerates. Questions start coming constantly, selections need approval, inspections happen, deliveries arrive, scheduling shifts, unexpected conditions appear. And now the owner is trying to process everything in real time while still managing a normal life. This is why projects that look simple on paper can suddenly feel emotionally overwhelming when construction starts, because construction creates momentum, and momentum without organization becomes stressful very quickly. The pre-construction work should make construction feel calmer. This is one of the biggest reasons strong pre-construction matters. The planning phase should reduce chaos during construction, not eliminate every problem, but reduce unnecessary confusion. For example, if the scope was clearly defined, fewer assumptions appear later. If the budget was realistic, fewer emotional financial surprises appear later. If finished selections were clarified early, fewer rushed decisions happen later. If communication systems were established early, fewer misunderstandings happen later. The more clarity built into the project before construction begins, the more stable construction tends to feel later. Most construction stress comes from uncertainty. Construction itself is not always the hardest part emotionally. Uncertainty is. Not knowing what happens next, why costs change, why delays happen, who is responsible, whether the project is still on track, or whether the outcome will match expectations. That uncertainty creates emotional pressure for owners, which is why communication and organization matter during construction. Because owners usually feel calmer when they understand what is happening, even when challenges appear. Good projects run on communication. Communication is one of the most underrated parts of construction. A lot of owners assume construction problems are mainly technical problems, but many times they are communication problems. Expectations were unclear, decisions were not documented, changes were not communicated properly, responsibilities were misunderstood, or updates stopped happening consistently. This is why strong communication systems matter. Projects should have clarity around who communicates updates, how often updates happen, how decisions are documented, how budget changes are tracked, how schedule changes are communicated, and how issues get escalated when problems appear. Without communication structure, projects become reactive very quickly. Owners need to prepare for decision fatigue. This part surprises many people. Construction creates decision fatigue constantly, especially during remodels and custom projects. At first, selections feel exciting. The tile, cabinets, lighting, fixtures, paint, hardware, but eventually the volume of decisions become mentally exhausting, especially when owners are balancing work, family, finances, and everyday life at the same time. That is why strong planning before construction has to happen. The more decisions handled early, the less emotional pressure owners carry later. And honestly, owners make better decisions when they are calm than when they are exhausted. Expect the project to change emotionally. This is something I wish more people understood up front. Your emotional relationship with the project will probably change during construction. At first, it feels exciting, then demolition happens, things look messy, Dust appears, unexpected issues appear, schedules shift, costs evolve, and there are moments where owners start wondering, did I make the right decision? That emotional swing is very common, especially during larger remodels and long duration projects. Understanding that emotional cycle ahead of time helps you stay calmer when these moments appear, because construction temporarily looks worse before it looks better. That is normal. Hidden conditions are part of construction. This is another area where realistic expectations matter, especially with remodels and older homes. Once walls open up, hidden conditions sometimes appear. It could be old plumbing, electrical issues, structural damage, dry rot, water damage, termite damage, code issues, improper previous work. And this is where contingency becomes critical, because owners who expect construction to uncover absolutely nothing unexpected often experience much higher stress when reality changes. Strong planning does not eliminate surprises, but it prepares the project to absorb them more intelligently. Change orders should not feel chaotic. Now let's talk change orders for a minute, because many owners hear change order and immediately think that something bad happened. But not all change orders are negative. Some happen because the owner changes direction intentionally. Some happen because hidden conditions appear. Some happen because better solutions are discovered during construction. The key is not avoiding every single change. The key is managing changes clearly. Good change management includes written documentation, clear pricing, schedule impact visibility, owner approval, and updated budget tracking. When changes are handled clearly, owners usually stay calmer. When changes feel vague or rushed, stress increases quickly. The best projects stay organized under pressure. This is something I have noticed repeatedly. Strong projects are not projects without problems. They are projects that stay organized when problems appear, because construction always involves pressure. Deliveries get delayed, inspections fail, weather shifts schedules, materials change, people make mistakes. The difference is how the project responds. Projects with structure adapt better. Projects without structure usually become emotional and reactive. That is why systems are imperative. Owners should stay engaged, not overwhelmed. One thing I always encourage owners to do is stay connected to the project without becoming consumed by it. You want awareness, not constant panic. Strong owners stay informed. They review updates, track major decisions, understand changes, and stay connected to the overall direction of the project. But they also avoid emotionally spiraling every time something shifts slightly, because construction rarely moves in a perfect straight line. The goal is not perfection. The goal is intelligent management. The project experience matters too. This part is important. Most people focus on the final result, but the experience of getting there matters as well. A project should not completely destroy your peace, relationships, or mental health. And while construction naturally creates stress sometimes, strong planning and strong systems can reduce a tremendous amount of unnecessary chaos. That is one of the biggest reasons I care so much about owner preparation, because projects should feel guided, not emotionally chaotic from beginning to end. What good construction planning feels like. Good construction planning usually creates stability. The owner understands the process. Communication feels consistent. Decisions feel organized. The team feels aligned. Problems are addressed directly. Changes are documented. Expectations stay visible. And even when challenges appear, the project still feels manageable because structure exists around it. Again, not perfect, but stable. And honestly, stability becomes one of the most valuable things during construction. Final thought. The one thing to take away from this chapter is that construction becomes much easier to manage when strong planning exists underneath it. The goal is not to eliminate every challenge. The goal is to reduce unnecessary chaos before the project gains momentum. Because once construction starts moving, the systems underneath the project become extremely visible. Communication, organization, decision-making, budget tracking, expectation alignment. Those things shape the owner experience dramatically. Before construction begins, prepare the process, not just the property. That is what creates smarter projects. Thank you for listening to Before You Build It. If you want additional project planning tools, construction resources, or guidance for your own project, visit goeasyproject.com/beforeyoubuildit. And if you're preparing for an ADU, remodel, addition, rebuild, or major construction project, you can also schedule a complimentary project strategy session